Now we're going to talk about how to repurpose your evergreen content for your social media platforms. So why do we do this? Because we want your original content to go onto your evergreen platforms, because evergreen content is searchable, it's permanent, it's always there. Your social media content will disappear in a few days, so you don't want to put your original content there because you'll lose it. The purpose of social media is to keep you top of mind and get you in front of new people. So social media has an important role to play. Just because your original content isn't going there doesn't mean it's not important. It's just used in a different way. Because it can be really easy to just feel like you're always on this content creation hamster wheel. So I want to maximize your efforts. Like every minute that you spend creating content, I want that content to go as far as it can. So now we're going to go through how to use social media. And it shouldn't be haphazard. You shouldn't just be posting randomly. Like everything else we do, there is a strategic and intentional way to do it and get the most impact for what you're actually doing. So one, you need to choose your feed platform or platforms. You're going to decide on one or two social media platforms to focus on. And then whichever ones you choose, you'll optimize them with keywords and call to action buttons. And it's better to focus on fewer platforms rather than spreading yourself thin by trying to be everywhere. And most likely, your audience isn't everywhere. You researched where your ideal audience is spending their time online. So you should already know what social media platform or platforms you're likely to find them on. It's probably not going to be the same audience on TikTok and LinkedIn. Those are very different platforms with different intentions. So you should know, based on the research that you've already done, where your audience is hanging out. And then you can just focus on that one or two platforms. So now, how to post to social media. One, social media posts are fleeting. So you can post linking to the same piece of original content, like your podcast episode or your YouTube video, 3 or 4 times, and you will show up in front of different people. You do want to make sure that you're highlighting a different feature or key point of your content with each social media post, just so that in case you are showing up in one person's feed over and over again, it doesn't look like you've just copied and pasted. Also, you can use tools like Later or Planoly to schedule your social media posts in advance. So again, this is something that a virtual assistant could help you with. You create one podcast episode and then hand it over to your VA, and they create and schedule 5 posts or 3 posts or something to go out to be published over the course of a week, the same week that podcast episode drops. One thing I do want you to keep in mind, if you are using a tool like that to schedule your social media posts, you do want to keep an eye on what you're posting and what's going on in the world, because if a major world event has just happened and you're posting something lighthearted, it can seem out of touch. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to take you through an example right now. And I just pulled a video from YouTube, from Debt Free Millennials channel, and I'll show you how I would repurpose it. And this obviously isn't my content, but I did want to show you an example of how the whole process works. And since I have been staying in the same niche for my other examples and research, I'm just going to go back and take one of her videos. I hope she's okay with this. So the video that she published was called Budget Basics or Budgeting for Beginners, I think was the video title. Post number 1, I watched the actual video that she had created. And so I just listed out the key points that she was covering. Like, you're going to write down your monthly income, debts and minimum payments, fixed expenses, fun category. This just covers like what's covered in the video. I like to include emojis in your social media posts and then break it up. Like, don't put more than 2 sentences, or I guess there are 3 sentences in one paragraph, and then put a space break between them, so it's just easier to read. So that's post number 1. Post number 2 would go out a couple days later. And I open with why your income minus expenses should equal 0. This is something that people might have questions about. This is a scroll stopper. Like, wait, why should that be? That doesn't make any sense. But then I'm going to tell them, like, there's a reason for it. Check out the YouTube video to find the answer. And you'll see in that first paragraph, I put asterisks around the word should, because in Instagram you can't bold or italicize anything. So I'll use asterisks if I want to emphasize a word. And in this third post, 2 budget categories you're almost definitely not factoring in. Again, this is a little bit clickbaity, like we want to get their attention. What is a mistake that I am making? I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. And you'll also notice that at the bottom of all 3 of these posts, I wrote link in bio, which you've probably seen before in Instagram. That's because in Instagram, you can't include a clickable link in a post unless you have like 100,000 followers or something. So what you have to do is include your links in your bio. Okay, so now you have a plan for repurposing your evergreen content for your social media platforms. And I think it can be reassuring to know you only have to create 1 piece of original content per week, and then you can recycle or reuse it for these other platforms. That feels way more manageable, to me at least. And in the next video, we'll talk about how to email your list when you do publish new content to keep them engaged. So, and if you have a template set up, an email template set up, it'll take you no time to do this. So, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.